So you have a little TYT 2 meter 70 centimeter rig, and you want to set it up in your office. That's great. Have you thought about getting an antenna for it? It says it was a complete ham station. Actually, you still need an antenna. You don't think you do? Well, okay, I don't know. Put one finger in the antenna jack and you can be the antenna. Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today's question comes to us from Isaiah, KD9TJZ. And his question is, I have a mobile TYT, okay, I'm using as a base station. Now, base station means like in your ham shack. Now, see right here what I've got here. This is the Anytone 578. And it's a base station. It'll do actually 2 meters, 1.25 meters, and 70 centimeters from this, and it will do DMR too. So you normally would mount it something like this up out of the way and give room for the speaker to get some volume out, and you wire it into your system and so on. What type of coax should I consider? And a power supply. Okay, the standard power supply that I've been recommending for people, Samlex 1235M. The M stands for meters. It's got meters on the front. And as you're using the station, you'll be able to see that you're getting current out. Now, the thing about the mobile TYT is it's looking for 13.8 volts, very nicely filtered. Okay, running it on pure 12 volts like you might get from a computer power supply can be an issue because that's really not the voltage that these things are looking for. They're looking more for 13.8 volts, which is what the Samlex will give you. Now, you can get adjustable voltage power supplies. I've only ever found one instance when that was useful, which is with this amplifier right here. This is an Ameritron amplifier, and the manual for it says it will handle up to 16 volts because this is designed for mobile use, and the car's power supply will get that high while it's charging the battery. So I got this power supply for it, and it normally would be at 13.8 volts, but I've got it turned up to 16 volts. And the amplifier absolutely loves it. But for all these other radios and so on, you want 13.8. So getting an adjustable power supply is, I mean, you're inviting somebody bumping the knob, or you bumping it yourself, and putting in too much power, blowing a fuse. Assume you've got a fuse in your line, don't you? And some of these radios like this one right here, the fuses are located all the way down at the end of the line, with the assumption that this would be used as a mobile unit. So if you're going to shorten that line, you need to remember to leave a fuse in the line, because there's not a fuse directly in here. Okay, a lot of radios are like that. They don't have the 12 volt fuse on the back of the radio, it's in the line. So you can go to an outfit like PowerWorks and buy little inline fuse holders that use automotive style fuses and splice those into your line. That will work too. Okay, and use normal automotive fuses. For something like this, you want to use 25 or 30 amp fuse and not go any higher than that. If it's blowing a 30 amp fuse out regularly, something is wrong, and you should go figure out what it is. Okay, so power supply, the coax, if you're going to go out on your roof, you may think it's only just right up above you there, but by the time you run a coax, you're going to find 50 feet is going to be about the least amount of coax that you're going to need to run down to your lightning rod, all the way up to the roof of the house and across to where the antenna is. Okay, you want to buy some kind of a cable that has relatively low loss. Now, the deluxe cable would be LMR 400, and you can buy it in various lengths with the connectors already attached. Putting on those connectors requires special tools. Or you can use something like RG213. Again, for a new ham, I recommend getting them with the coax already attached. Don't forget that you're going to have to run from the radio out down to your lightning arrestor, and then a separate cable from the lightning arrestor up on the roof. If you really want to know how much cable you're going to need, run string or yarn that does some string that doesn't stretch, like kite string, yarn stretches, and run it that length, and then lay it all out and measure it. You will be amazed how much coax you will need. So I would go LMR 400 or RG213 for that cable. You could also do RG8, which is still available from a number of the manufacturers, but it's a very out-of-date design of cable. It is still around, but a lot of it's very, very old, and coax does deteriorate with age. Okay, you're going to want to keep, if you put nice LMR 400, it could last 10, 15 years, okay? Cheaper cable, it maybe only lasts 2 or 3. The problem with cable is water ingress. If you get water into the cable, it will start to rot the copper outer conductor, and it will turn it green and eventually tear it apart. Other thing you have to look for with cable is some animals like to chew on it. So if you do run it underground, put it in a piece of plastic pipe, will help protect it. Get cable for direct burial if you can. Now the last question he asked is, how do you go about getting QSL cards from people? Well, on 2 meters and 70 centimeters, it isn't very common to send QSL cards unless you get some very strange weather phenomena and have tropospheric ducting or sporadic e-propagation or something like that, and you're talking to somebody 1,000 miles away. That is not common. This is my QSL card that I had printed locally, and I have the place on the back to fill stuff out and put the address here. There are forever stamps for postcards that are a few cents cheaper than first-class mail. Or you can send it via first-class mail with a stamped, self-addressed return envelope tucked in there too, okay? That helps a little bit. A lot of technician hams do not have QSL cards. A lot of generals and extras do not have QSL cards, okay? It's just they've kind of gone a little bit by the wayside simply because the postage is so darned expensive. It used to be you could send a postcard for a penny. I have some old postcards that are still legitimate postage that have 3 cents of postage on them. Back then, sure, I'll send you a QSL card. Costs more to print one. Actually, they do cost a fair amount to print, but you can get them. I have a little stuff down here describing my YouTube channel and the fact that I write the Ask Dave column for QST and stuff. And I thought it would be fun doing all on a typewriter, and this right here is the typewriter that I used for that. This old, it's a 1973 Classic 12 Smith Corona typewriter, and it is a real typewriter. If you send QSL cards, if you're going to send it to a station, like you're working on Worked All States and you finally got the guy in Vermont, I swear there's only half a ham in Vermont, and he's got his other foot in New Hampshire, so that's why it's so hard to get those 2 states. There are actually plenty there, they're just hard to get hold of. Montana and North Dakota are other hard places to get. Send your card in an envelope with a self-addressed stamped envelope in there. You have a much higher chance of getting a QSL in return. What I do for stateside QSLs, I'll just send the postcard, okay? I get somewhere between about a 25 and a 30% return rate. If I get cards back, great. If I don't, fine. I understand that most people don't use them these days. Back when they were only a penny a piece, it was expected that you would get a QSL card after a conversation. It's like when gentlemen would meet in their club and shake hands, they'd exchange business cards. Well, sort of like that. Well, that's out the window anyway, and QSL cards aren't used much. There are listed in the classified adverts in QST some QSL card printers. Your local printing office will print them for you too. I had this one done in color, which makes them a lot more expensive. If you do it in black and white, you'd probably want to do all the printing on one side, so you're not paying for the printing on the second side. You can buy bulk postcards, but I wouldn't do that because if you ruin one, you've lost the postage. So then you get the stamps. Instead of forever, they say postcard. Okay, and they're good. I think I bought a roll of them. That's going to last me quite a while, so I don't get on HF tremendously often. So there you go. I think I've answered all your questions. He says, thanks, Dave. I really enjoy your videos. So again, QSLing is mostly an HF type of a phenomenon or very unusual VHF propagation, VHF or UHF or microwave or whatever you might be doing. Earth, moon, Earth, meteor scatter, any of those you probably are going to want to exchange cards on because those are pretty memorable QSOs. So there you have it. Now I want to tell you about a little special we're running. If you join Patreon for this channel at patreon.com/KE0OG, there's a $2 level, I think a $5 and a 10 and a 20. If you join even at the $2 level, include your call sign somewhere in there, or at least make sure you put your address in. And we will send you the first month a thank you, which will consist of a $2 US currency bill. And yes, these are legal, look it up. And $3 bills, phony, but $2 bills, these are real currency. And they're rare enough, you can take it to your ham club meeting, show it around and say, hey, look what I got from OG. There it is. All right, until we next meet, 73.